the Venezuelan chic.
Okay, guys. This is the Immigrant Boss Show. The Immigrant Boss Show on live on YouTube. If you're with us, thank you very much for coming here. Today I have Alberto Perosch. Perosch is Italian, right?
Perosch.
Yeah, it's Italian origin, absolutely. A little bit of Croatian in there, old-fashioned style, but yes, born in Venezuela.
And that's great. So thank you very much, Alberto. Or if you prefer, I will refer to you as Perosch. And I have George Reyes here too.
How you doing? Everything great. How are you, Augusto?
I'm Augusto Alagia. I'm Augusto Alagia, the captain, and we're going to do this amazing show. It's going to be extremely exciting because I have someone that came from the future.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. And I'm glad you opened the door and give me this chance and opportunity. Thank you very much.
Okay, guys, so today is going to be very interesting because this fella here, he have a lot of connection in politics. So if you want to see a polemic show, this is the day, because we're going to be talking about business, but we're going to also be talking about politics, news, everything that's happening in the world, and a lot of an inside view of what happened in Venezuela, and that is eventually even risking to happen in the United States. I don't know. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let's see what you think. But let's come to this. Alberto, thank you very much again.
To the contrary, thank you
for coming here.
Thank you for having me.
So that's very interesting because we have been here for almost 2 decades already, right? So how long have you been in the United States?
One thing is half of my life I lived in the United States. If you think that I did my high school in Princeton, New Jersey, and then I was supposed to go back to Venezuela. My family came from Italy, and I was supposed to go back. Instead, they said, listen, apply somewhere there, see what you're going to do. I did my university also, my years in Washington, D.C., and I wanted to be an architect. Instead, we already had an architect in the family. Go study politics.
Do you like United States compared to Venezuela?
Now, this is the greatest country in the world, and we like to keep it that way. That's why I jump into politics.
Georgie, from the same country, from the same city, and eventually we even share some same women, no?
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know if we share the same women. But
because I knew that
the women in Venezuela are beautiful, you know.
Yeah, but
absolutely. Absolutely. Women in Venezuela.
I'm telling you this because he mentioned to me that he has a very, very successful bar there with a lot of parties, and you were one of the people that went the most for the bar. So he
kicked me out like 2-3 times.
You know, so I thought, probably share or some of those women there.
Look at that face. He did misbehave, No, absolutely. Good client. He was a good guy.
Perosch is saying to me that you are one of the most dangerous person there in Caracas by that time. Right?
It was crazy, a lot of fun.
It wasn't an incredible city.
Oh, wow.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
Gastronomy-wise, nightlife, even culturally-wise. The climate was fantastic. It was incredible. And now it's whatever.
It is what is happening now in Venezuela, right? But something that is very interesting, I would like to discuss with you a little bit throughout. We explore a little bit your personal stories. Back then in Venezuela, you have a kind of a wealthy reality, right? Because your father was a business person,
yes,
right?
absolutely.
So he was an entrepreneur.
He was an immigrant himself. We all came after the war. A lot of people moved, and there was a big Italian counterpart there with Spaniards from Spain, Italians, even Germans. But then there was another part. Somebody with the boats stopped in Venezuela, and some others continue down to Buenos Aires. So it's funny, the people that really don't know, they go, I have somebody down there in Venezuela, in Buenos Aires. I said, look, it's either farther, maybe Caracas, Europe, than down there to Buenos Aires. It's tough. So it's different thing. But yes, there was a lot of immigration during the years after the war, and it was a fantastic country. They really embraced people really well, and people went there to work.
So, your father was an entrepreneur.
Yes.
And he was into aviation, right? You mentioned this to me.
Yes.
He started his life as an entrepreneur into aviation, or he evolved into
No,
this?
he evolved into it. He evolved into it, and because he started representing Cessna Aviation.
Okay.
Okay, then he went into Grumman Aerospace, which is the Grumman. Today is G6.
Okay.
You see Tom Cruise in one flying in it. Okay, but at the time it was the G2, so they started sending the G2s to the banking big officers and big banks. They had these planes, and we were one of the probably, I don't know, George, one of the few countries, or maybe I wouldn't say the land. We had an airport right in the middle of the city.
Yeah.
There was a military base, half of it, and the other one was the air club. My father was one of the founders, and you will take a flight with a plane, with a helicopter, and go to the islands. It was amazing. We took off right in the middle of the city. And so that developed into a business that then in the early 80s, civilian air business started going down. They had a real crisis, and we went into military. And so we were supplies to the Ministry of Defense for Augusta helicopters, CASA Aerospace, there were planes we sold to the Navy. We had representation of what do you call it? Besides Grumman Aerospace, always. We had representation also from Yugoslavia at the time, which was a united country in those years.
George, by that time you were in Venezuela too,
I was
right?
at that time, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And by the time, like, Venezuela was considered like one of the strongest like jewels in South America, correct?
Correct.
So it's booming. They have business. A lot of things that was going on.
Oil was booming. Oil production. Oil.
It was incredible.
Everything was related to oil.
I always say, and people don't like it, when the governor gave me the microphone once, I said, "Listen, I come from Venezuela. That's why I come from the future. And we Venezuelans come from the future. And we come to warn you, don't play with this thing because it's disaster." Things that did the Cuban many years ago and told us, and nobody wanted to believe. Okay, I was a believer. I said, they're right, but it's okay. So,
and guys, I wanted to make you understand that when he talk about coming from the future, is like he is announcing that we can have a difficult future in the United States, right?
Absolutely. We are having it already. We're paying the price. We're paying the price. So we better wake up because we've seen the end of this movie. You see what I mean? But when I mentioned the governor, it's because when I said, he gave me the microphone, I said, listen, people, I come from Venezuela. And Venezuela was #1 country in Latin America. So everybody was quiet because it was a room with 300 people. And so suddenly the governor looks at me, I look at him, I say, well, I know Latin Americans don't like to hear that, but it's true. We were #1, you know what I mean? And it's true. It was the richest country there. And today, we don't qualify. The poorest, actually. Absolutely.
So tell me, like being in a family, in an entrepreneur family, you lived exactly at this moment, right? So you were there, you were having you came to, your father could provide to you a high level of education. So you came to the United States, you were going back and forth.
I did
and then you mentioned to me that in 86, you came back to Venezuela and you started engaging in business with your father.
Yes.
Right? And from 86 to 2000, let's say more or less 14 years of doing business in Venezuela. And then you saw Chavez taking power, right? Taking power.
Absolutely. We saw him coming. And therefore, since we were suppliers of the Ministry of Defense and everything, we had contact with the military. It was a much more serious, extremely serious military. It was, the people were really appointed to do their mission. And at that time, you would hear that lie that Chavez turned into a Cuban associate or ideology 7-8 years ago. No, he came in and little by little, they throw it into a reality. We already knew what was coming and we're trying to warn people. But then again, this is my displeasure. I'm here 23 years ago and I'm in the same position that nobody wants to believe you what's going on.
And if you do, like, if you guys, we're talking about like this Immigrant Boss, right? So the idea is to give you tips, tricks, and ideas how to engage in business and be successful. One of the things that you need to know is like even the SWOT analysis, right? The external factors that can interfere in your business, right? And politics is a very strong factor that can make business thrive or can completely destroy business, right? Back then, when you were analyzing your business, like before, like it was still the elections, right?
Yeah.
Election period and stuff, you were already analyzing a little bit how to approach your business, or you didn't really put too much effort into this by that time?
No, at the time, but because listen, it's one thing goes with the other. Even though you want to say, no, I'm business wise, I don't want to get involved into politics because politics are dirty. Okay, it's your opinion, and I understand it's very conflictive sector. But what people gotta understand, you better get involved because there is one reason: politics decides how much is a gallon of gas. Therefore, how much is a gallon of milk? Where did your kids gonna study? How much you gonna pay for your business? What is the opportunity your business has? How much is a buck? The value of a buck? Okay, and what kind of investment and what kind of security there is. And absolutely, if there is a rule or law in the country that gives you security for your investment.
But you have that same understanding and experience back then? Probably not. So my question is more or less like this, elections.
Yes.
Were you with your father planning already, say, hey, if Chavez wins, I'm gonna do this? If like he was competing against who by the time? What is the competitor?
He was competing by somebody by we call it the Fourth Republic,
okay, which
was a representative that had the conservative ideas.
Okay, so
and he came out with this populist.
So have you put a plan, a strategize by the time when you were living there or not?
No. Yeah, we were trying not to lose what we had, and the conservative presidency that we had. There was already troubles with Carlos Andres Perez. He had been removed. Chavez was in jail after he was given up, and he went into politics. He went into campaigning. We tried to stop it, and we were backing up the other guy. So basically, we were involved into trying to maintain what Venezuela is sorrow today, not to maintain at the time.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit a conversation that you had with your father back then, like say, hey, Papa, I don't know, it's happening.
That could be interesting,
what we do? Tell me a little bit.
Imagine,
what was the type of conversation?
I was graduated from Washington, and I went back to work with my father.
Yeah.
In a few years, everything started degrading.
Okay.
We saw Chavez coming, and my father was very worried because he told me, there is one thing that I do. Okay, I escaped the war in Europe, and I can tell a communist coming about 3 months before, and like 500 blocks away, already I can smell it. This guy is trouble, and I don't know what we're going to do. So at the end, what we're going to do, little by little, you start finding yourself. I had access, so you see about business. I was the vice president of the Young Entrepreneurs of Venezuela. What were you doing? Teaching capitalism to the kids that were coming out of university or mainly high school who didn't even know if you want to put a lemon stand or something like a lemonade stand, you need the permits, you need the bureaucracy wouldn't allow them. We taught them how to make a company, how to make business, and how to strive for yourself without hoping any populist idea of the government. So we were teaching that. And little by little, I had access to newspapers, to programs, to TV, an interview. And I started getting very pessimistic. And the government, when Chavez came in and said, what does this guy want? And what the hell is he talking about? Little by little, to make a long story short, I found myself in a position to talk to him, bring him over, and if he doesn't want to be over, then let's get rid of him. And chief of police down there, I had a bar, I had businesses, I had stuff. He told me, Perosch, there is a talk, they want to kidnap your son. So when the chief of police tells you that, you're like, okay, but it's good that you know. And he goes like, yeah, it's good and not good. I say, what do you mean? Am I secure? No, you're not. You pick up your passport and you protect your son.
So the chief of police, he flipped to Chavez's side?
Yes, he was he was a decent man, because I had to deal with him quite a few times, but he was trying to warn me, this is not good, and there is nothing we can do for you.
Man, I have to sideway with someone, and the winner is Chavez, so it's better that as a chief of police, I do what Chavez tells me to do, because if not, they're gonna get rid of me as well.
And then you see the deterioration of police that gradually went into weaponized against decent people. Then when we saw that we're planning to disarm the people there. And that's why I say here, Second Amendment, do not, because there is not one country that has disarmed these people that has a nice story to tell. Because why?
Yeah.
Because you can defend your property, can defend your family, you can defend your rights.
You cannot defend yourself against
Exactly, against
the politician, the government, right? So this is a little bit of some the thread of
and nobody's calling for violence, but you understand that when you see police that cannot defend you because they want to kidnap your son and they cannot do anything, you need your own security. What is going to provide it? A baseball bat? I had that too in the car, so you never know.
I don't know what is the justification into the possibility of carrying arms. But George, before we get you to this point, you were not living in Venezuela when Chavez took the power. You were already living in the United States,
Correct.
right?
I was in
So
New York
for some years already. So for how many years you were already here?
4 or 5 years already.
5 years already.
Before
So you were
Chavez
established.
arrived.
But tell me what happens in your mind. Were you connected to this process there? Were you connected with your family?
Very well connected. I mean,
Yeah.
it's almost like when you have a guy like this, right?
Yeah.
You have a lot of information that you can digest and you can make decisions.
And what type of conversation you have with your family back then? Because you were the only one here at the time, right?
Yeah, it was very tough. My family said, "Why are you leaving?" They didn't understand. We were living, in a beautiful country, right?
Absolutely. It's sad.
tough.
It's sad when you have to leave, by the way, a paradise like that.
Yeah.
We were like, pfft,
So
whatever you need.
what do you think, guys, in terms of and bringing back to the business side of it? You have a business and politics happening. How I don't even tell you. So how educated you should be in terms of politics to make good decisions in terms of business. Do you agree that it's eventually it's important for you to know where the politics goes or not?
You got to get involved. You got to have a knowledge.
Yeah.
You got to be responsible. If you have a kid, by the way, besides a business, you need to know because you are responsible for your family. If you're a surfer, you are 18 years old, you're ready to vote, but all you care is about catching the night wave, you're not responsible for anything. It's okay. Yeah. But if you have a family, if you have a business, and you have you employ people, and you have something going, you better know because it's taxation, because it's insecurity that might come out, and you need to have common sense, and you need a rule of law established that there is consumer confidence. Otherwise, you do an investment and you don't know what's going to happen, which in business, let's be clear, you take your risk. But when you have a government that goes against you, tell me what are the possibilities that you can really grow.
What you did with your businesses, so the two businesses that you have by that time, right? So you have the aviation business with your father,
yes,
and you have your bar as well as a business,
at the time,
right?
Yes.
What you did with your business by that time? You sold it? Could you sell it?
No. I rented my place, and then later I sold it where the bar was. It's very well known. People used to come from Miami. Used to have a room just to put the luggage. Imagine, because they come directly to party down there. It was great. It was really nice. And then little by little, it started going down because it gets dangerous. It gets shooting, kidnappings in the middle of the street. It was crazy.
So you evaluate that by the time one of the best decisions you had was like to get rid of it and sell your businesses, right?
I tell you one thing about business. The people that knows, the managers, banks, business, construction, that talk directly to the president of the newspaper, of the TV station. You don't hear the program. You talk to the guy. You are invited to the wedding of the son or something like that. You are like, okay, what's going on? Immediately that they smell fear, the first thing, you have billions of dollars leaving the country. I can give you an example. Colombia. I don't know, 6 months ago, they kind of suicide politically, and you have Petro there, billions. We're talking $18-19 billion left the country like this. Everybody puts the money outside, and you start saying, okay, let's see if we can manage this from the outside, because you do see they're coming against you.
And it was what you have done at that time. You sold your business and put your money outside.
It's happening too in Brazil, right?
Yes.
It is. A lot of people are scared.
The difference is that Brazil is huge population.
Absolutely.
Still there, but a lot of people are leaving the country because there is nothing that they fear. What he's telling us is amazing when you feel it and you want to start making a living. Different country.
I think in Brazil it's a little bit different than what happened in Venezuela, because it was not so fast. I think Venezuela was like, he took power and boom, he went for it.
Well, I tell you, Venezuela was such an economical miracle. It took 23 years to put it down to what is today.
Oh, yeah? That's right.
It was incredible. These people stole everything. I make a parallels with this, and people say, that's a good thing. It's like we go steal the central bank of the country. They stole even the getaway car. So they're stuck in it. They cannot leave. Even the wheels of the car that were supposed to escape after they did the heist, they stole everything. Venezuela was the richest oil country in the world, and we have no gas.
Okay, so this is a good question because for me, again, I never lived into a socialist country, when I lived in Brazil. Right. And I even don't consider yet Brazil as a socialist country, not yet. And unfortunately, it's going to be.
That's why he comes from the future, right?
That's my point. So I would like to ask you. So because you mentioned, because sometimes when you are outside like me, when I'm looking to the history of Venezuela or other countries that have been completely dominated by the communists, like Cuba and so on, we think it was fast and it was extremely easy to figure out, to see that everything was going down. Yeah. But it's not necessarily, because you just mentioned that it took 23 years. So probably a lot of people in the first year, in the second year, in the third year, in the fourth year were believing that the guy were doing good stuff, right? Or not?
But I know people, ask George, I know people that knew because the government said, the regime said, we're going to expropriate. And they expropriated 450 properties that were main key things, take it away from you. And you are like, okay, but then if there is no private property, ask me what is the business that you can do.
Amazing.
Okay, imagine, I just give you an idea. The richest agricultural after La Pampa, Argentina, is El Llano Venezolano. So we should have cows, meat, and we had an industry of that. And we have to import meat now because we don't have it. We had milk. Something like how many refineries? We had 10 refineries.
Something like that.
And now we're left with nothing.
But that's my point. What I'm telling you is like a lot of people, they don't realize what's happening until it's too late. You were extremely smart to get out of your money like very fast. But a lot of people live like we call it, when you put, we cook the crabs alive. So you put them into cook. The water is cold. And you rump it little by little, and the crab don't feel they're dying. And then when they see, they're already dying, so they cannot even jump up from it. Do you feel that socialism, communism, or whatever happened into Venezuela? That's now right now it's pretty clear. Everybody understands what's happening now. It happened this way, or it was like a hot water right away.
I tell you what it is. Socialist is the mask of communist. And they were smart because they say, if you talk about communists, there will be flights enough to leave the country in a matter of 72 hours. Okay? Call it socialist, because socialist is, it's not about that. And there is a change of terminology. But, if he walks like a dog,
there is a new terminology
walks like a dog, right? and
it's a dog.
It's a dog, and that's what it is. It's communist. When they take your property, when they don't give you guarantees on anything, and your life is worth nothing, you gotta get out of there. There is nothing you can do. Now, I feel for the people that stay, because not everybody can get out. Not everybody can get out.
But even because right now it's very interesting, because I'm following a little bit some of my friends. I came to the United States like 7 years ago. Fortunately, I have my story here right now. My family is here. My kids, they're American, and so on. But I see some of my friends in Brazil pushing to make a decision. And I have some friends that they are entrepreneurs. I have doctors. I have, people that have a good educational level.
Correct.
But I think they are too lazy to make a move, to be serious. They say, no, let's see a little bit of the stocks. Let's see a little bit what happened. And they're not taking very seriously this, to be sincere. I don't know if it's going to happen in Brazil or happen in Venezuela with the social party that took over right now. I don't know. I don't know the future. You came for the future. I didn't come for the future.
No, I understand. No, the reason why I came for the future is because we've seen everything. I mean, believe me, in the last 2 years in the United States, from banking, the unsafe that is a bank.
Communism turns to socialist as a word, right?
Right.
complex process. And now they call it here progressist.
I tell you one thing.
We are progressive.
We already, the highest inflation in the world, it was said 2 days ago, is Venezuela. It's on a free fall, number one. So we've seen inflation. We've seen what it is printing money to a point where the money is worth nothing. We've seen what is the high rates of interest. We see how real estate in Venezuela, everything is worth nothing. Okay, why? Because your life is worth nothing. Either because you don't have security yourself, personal security, your integrity. At any minute, you are on the wrong traffic light and your life finished. At any minute, you can be kidnapped and there's nobody that can watch over you. Number one. Second, we've seen indoctrination in school. Our kids in school, they started changing history. Okay, Simon Bolivar was this guy we don't even recognize anymore because they just flipped the story of Simon Bolivar, whatever it needs for the narrative. We've seen it here. We've seen the take of the capital, okay, in Venezuela twice. It was Brazilians are very good in telenovelas, seriously, on TV. Venezuelans were too. It was a telenovela. Even everybody went, oh, look at this. It was all fake. We saw banking system collapsing. We saw whatever is crime wave skyrocketing. We saw the jails getting empty. We saw the police defunding. We really lived the urban guerrillas. We have it. It's called colectivos. It's paid by the government and say create a little chaos here because we need a crisis. All the crises are induced. We've seen the races.
Is there business in Venezuela right now? Or so how is the business?
There are heroes in Venezuela, I am telling you, because anybody that has a business right now in Venezuela, to me, it's either crazy or it's a hero.
Or they're tied to the government.
Because what they do.
Tied to the government.
Yeah.
Listen, I say we Venezuelans, the ones that are outside, we come from the future. The ones that are inside, they don't come from the future. They are immortal. You understand? Because anybody would have been deceased already. And they keep insisting. And you see, there is a new thing coming up in Venezuela now. There is because there is an election coming. But there is the biggest problem that we have. And one day you will find out soon in Brazil too. It's called fraud.
Yeah.
And that's the
electoral fraud.
Electoral fraud. Okay. Because electoral integrity is the dorsal spine of democracy, and it goes to your brain and to your mouth who said the people have spoken. But if I vote for somebody and comes out that somebody else won and the wrong guy sits at the chair, what the hell are we voting for? That's the only way, and that's the only voice we have, unless we have not even weapon to be heard. So once you're naked, you have no shoes, you have no voice, who's gonna come for you? Nobody. No,
and something important that you are saying is it's happening in Brazil. I believe I have talked to many Brazilians too, in terms of business, that what the government put on the communism, socialism, progressist, not to be aware that that's why a lot of people are fleeing the country like Venezuela, Colombia, Brazil. But the main thing is food. They control your way to eat. When they control the way to eat,
that's it.
The Venezuelans think every day, what I'm going to eat tomorrow.
Yeah, right.
They're not thinking about politics. They're not thinking about how to change the system.
They want personal security.
Yeah.
Okay, but I tell you, to answer your question exactly, why Venezuelans over there take so long? Because you're there with a esperanza, you're hoping, and you go like, well, listen, it's been a month, so we still have electricity. This is getting better. It's not bad. Listen, they break your legs and then they sell you at a very high price the wheelchair. And they're all happy. They start clapping. And then we, the ones that are outside, okay, have a clearer mind because we have electricity, we have water, we have this, we have that. And we can look into the country from far away and say, this is obvious. These people are doing really bad. Once you are in there, you have no gas. So you are 24 hours line to pump gas into your car. Yeah. You get out and you're scared to leave your house because when you come back, your house got robbed. You're busy going to pick up your kids at school because any minute they can be kidnapped or they can be raped. You're busy seeing your money in the bank to see how do you change dollars, whatever I can change. You're busy all day. You're waiting to charge your phone because electrical comes at 2 o'clock in the morning. Believe me, it's a Cuban-style situation. And you're busy doing all these things. They keep you busy like that. You have no time to think, what are you going to do tomorrow? Eventually the same. So you know what is a victory to you? hey, I found pollo chicken today, and my phone is charged, and I have internet. Wow, today is a great day. No, dude, you're doing worse than the other day, but you're not realizing how bad it is.
So that's what I say. It's a slow cook, and then
it's a slow cook. You're right.
Yeah. So
I like that because it's a slow cooking process.
Yeah.
That they do with the population, and that's why it's still. Ask the question to yourself: why still Cubans coming to the United States? 65 years or 70 years, and you see right now young people coming to the United States.
Now the numbers of Venezuelans that are crossing the border.
Oh yeah,
it's a record.
It's a record.
It's a record. We have listen, so people understand Venezuela. We have the Syrian exodus, refugee crisis. Okay, Syrian. Okay, they were bombing. It was crazy. Okay, it was millions of people displaced. Everybody going to Europe, trying to move everywhere they could. Okay, we have to go in the defense of it. You know how many Venezuelans have been displaced? We're almost to 7 million people outside. Okay, in everywhere they come walking. They try to do the best. Okay, it's the biggest immigration crisis ever.
So tell me, where you go now? Because the United States have been taking over.
No, we gotta fight. We gotta fight.
What's the next country?
You're telling me I come here and I find myself in the same situation that 23 years ago. I said, what the hell? I mean, no, you gotta fight. We gotta wake people up. I mean, I see the zombies still go, Perosch, relax, you think United States is exactly what they used to say in Venezuela. This is so rich, nothing is going to happen. Relax, have a whiskey. Okay, yeah, have a whiskey.
So if it's so clear, so because like socialism, as you're telling us, it's like 50 years ago, like decades ago, and everybody already knows that didn't work, right? So it's not something that healthy for a country. Why? We got this right now in Colombia, in Brazil, and even here in the United States. Why this? What do you think?
They give these promises, populism. It's the word free doesn't exist. Somebody's got to pay for something.
There's no free lunch.
You understand? Exactly. I give you another thing. Even in faith, money is important. But the biggest machinery you have in the world is the church. They go to every corner, to every town. There is a church and there is a priest. But you need money because you need to feed the guy and you need to service the people. For that, you need that. So when you see this situation, you realize that it's very important what they do. They censor everything and people live in hope. Okay, and what do? Rich is bad. They have the money. You don't. We are coming for you to help you. At the same time, there is something very important. What they do, you listen to them in private. They told me people gotta be poor. Because as soon as we become middle class, because they squash the middle class, and the movement is like you equalize everybody in poverty because there is not enough money to give to everybody. Okay, so the person that says, I don't have anything, what else do I have to lose? And maybe inside of themselves, they want to see you running. So the only moment I have a power, I vote for this bastard who's going to put the rich people running away. I'm going to enjoy this, and he's gotta give me something. That's at the beginning. At the end, they don't give you anything. They want to keep you poor. Because as soon as you go into the middle class, you stop voting for them. Because then your business doesn't work, and you don't get what you want.
Why so many of the middle class in the United States still vote? And again, I'm dumb as hell in politics, and I would like to learn. So why so many of the middle class is still supports, for example, Biden, which is so-called a little bit aligned to socialism? Is he aligned to socialism or not?
There is a fourth power.
Okay.
In politics.
What is the fourth power?
The fourth power is the press and the media. I call it depress for depression at this moment. It's the gag order of administration that they have everything under control. It's called censoring. That's why our governor DeSantis signed an anti-censor law. That's the moment he gave me the microphone and I said the thing about the future, and he was signing the anti-censor law. People don't know. Listen, you watch Univision, Telemundo, and they have a narrative that you're like, if you really know what's going on, you're like, what country are they talking about? This is not what's happening here. And even some Latinos are waking up, they say, but this doesn't match. And I'll tell you something about fraud. Okay, let's go back to fraud. Religiously speaking, when the laws of the universe and mathematics is not an opinion and probability calculations don't match, okay, in religion it's called a miracle. In politics it's called a fraud. When you don't have an explanation how a person like Lula, who was in jail because he had appropriation of money and all the, he comes back and everybody wants him back in a moment that Brazil wasn't doing very well under him. And under Bolsonaro, instead, he started becoming, again, the power that he was, obviously with sacrifice and job, because they put you so down. How do you resurface a country? With sacrifice. And long gone are those days of Winston Churchill that won an election saying, there is only one thing I can promise you, blood, sweat, and tears. And he won. Today, you go to Latin America and say, I promise you blood, sweat, and tears. Nobody will vote for you. But you got to understand it's a sacrifice to pick up a country. And a nation is made out of heroes that sacrifice. This is what America did. Now everybody wants everything for free, and that doesn't work that way.
Okay, so that's, again, America, we still have a pretty strong middle class, right? We have a pretty strong middle class. So technically, we would say, okay, those guys have food and time and access to information enough to make good decisions, right? And when we see pools, and again, this is a question that I have to ask myself, and even apply to I would love to see your opinion for Brazil too, but like we have a middle class, how it's possible in a strong country that you still have a good infrastructure in terms of, you know, the institutions still live strong.
Yeah.
How it's possible to maintain this narrative or this opinion about fraud if a lot of like the voters here, they have like access to information and the institution is still like strong, right? Because if you tell me, hey, Augusto, there is the institution is not strong, say, I'm going to start finding my new country to go.
I'll make you an example. Daisy, he has friends like I do. And for example, I don't want to turn this into a Republican fair. Yes, but in a way, I have friends that are Democrats. I have beers with them. We do barbecue. They're my friends. We hang out with the motorcycles. They have family with that. Everybody, yes. We have Christmases together. It's no problem. But completely, they go, Perosch, where do you get these ideas? How did you find out? They're watching some channels. They don't even mention. They're not even suspecting what's going on. And I can't blame them because you put the TV, you watch CNN for 20 minutes, and you're completely saying, Perosch, what the hell are you talking about? This is ridiculous. One day you wake up, Twitter files, there is a man that paid $44 billion that we're saying, who's going to find out what we're doing here, etc. Well, the guy bought the thing, and you could see the Twitters that come back and forth, and the biggest institutions in America, real politicians, and the agencies were involved into colluding against a man that suddenly, when you start looking, you go like, wow. And then comes the Durham report that if you put different channels, they're not even mentioning. It's 300 pages investigation where it says that from A to Z, everybody was conspiring against a man, and then one day we're having a whiskey and go, so you're telling me that the wrong guy is sitting in the chair?
Okay.
Yes.
So
right? You either wake up that day or you're like, I can't believe it. This is ridiculous. This cannot be happening in America. Well, we thought in Venezuela, this cannot be happening here. There is too much money. This is so rich. What the hell are people are complaining for?
That's right.
It is.
So in terms of, I really want to see a little bit of opinion because basically you're telling me, man, people as Trump here when they say Trump, is like they are mistakenly agreeing and following those channels and those type of information and stuff. So again, the guys already took the power through allegedly this fraud, right? What will make them not take the power again, allegedly, for the fraud? Because you're telling me the guys here in the United States, they don't have...
You got to wake people up, and they got to start at least suspecting there is something doesn't match here. Why in the typical 7 state there is always a problem counting votes? You imagine Arizona, it took something like 30 days. Listen, Venezuela is a banana republic in comparison to this country, proportional. And now we are the biggest banana republic in the world. And it doesn't take 30 days to count the votes. You know what I mean? And this is America. So you got to wake people up. because I tell you what is the problem. That's what we should have started with. Half of the people are not informed about what happened. Half of the people are not informed about what happened.
So, and that's my point. If it happens in Venezuela, it's happening in Brazil, allegedly. What's gonna block it to happen in the United States?
You know why it sounds bad
it's gonna
when
be
I say
different?
this? You know why it sounds bad? I'm gonna give you as an example.
Yes.
You're an excellent guy. I've been speaking with you a few hours, etc. We get along. I understand you're a very smart guy. You have a business. You're a father. You're in the family. You told me, listen, I'm not very good in politics. I really don't know anything about politics. So I should tell you, hey, what a responsible guy. It's not your fault. Why? Because you're busy, you're working, you're producing, you believing you are in America, and you're like, God, this is the most civilized country in the world.
The dumbest guy here in this room.
No, not at all.
And in business, we say, if you're the smarter, if the dumbest is good, at least you learn.
What I'm trying to let you know,
I always play for the underdog.
You are either,
but I know,
you or either detached, uninformed, or misinformed. If you will be misinformed if you try to tell me that the guy that is there in the picture is just an old man, and obviously you understand. Okay,
I would like to share this because we are talking about people getting informed, and for me, sincerely, I don't know what's happening in politics, but I am a businessman.
Yeah,
and for me, in terms of the business side, the economic side, or the opportunity side,
yes,
what I lived here because I got Trump. And now I'm getting Biden as the supreme politician here in the United States in terms of government. So I feel how strong it is, how many opportunities I get into Trump, economic wise, in in terms of my business. And right now I'm seeing everything getting crazy,
really gloomy and dark.
Yeah,
and you're not sure.
And I don't know if it's related to politics. It's not economics. Blah, blah, blah.
Well, remember, politics is Augusto.
And of course, I came to the United States. I even didn't speak English, so I'm still trying to educate myself.
No, it's fine.
Try to educate myself.
That's what it's about the show, right?
Yeah.
The Immigrant Boss. When you explain people like you, like me, like everybody, all are immigrants. We came here as an immigrant, and we are making a living, and we're supporting family, providing, and everything. Politics is about policies. What they decide to do is in your name because you are voting for that.
Yeah,
that's what is the most important part.
And the parallel that I want to tell people here is like, guys, and then we have to have both opinions. I think all opinions is open and it's welcome.
Absolutely.
So if you want to bring your Democrat friend here, and we can have a very interesting debate here.
You can't because I'm a crazy nut. I am Alberto. Is a conspiracy theorist. Alberto, listen, go in your motorcycle and have a whiskey at the bar and enjoy and smoke a cigar. Relax, man.
Yeah.
I said, listen, there's no time, and I don't want to be. Listen, I'll tell you about conspiracy theorists. I don't know if you're a Catholic or something like that. But you know what's the biggest?
Alberto, remember Elon Musk?
Yeah.
He was interviewed 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, and he said,
and they asked him, what about all these conspiracy theories?
Yeah.
And he said, they were not conspiracy theories.
They were right in every single thing. We haven't missed one thing.
He paid $44 billion,
and he says it's written there.
But with a conspiracy theory.
But my point here is not if it's real or it's not real. And talking to you, I see that you have a very, very good argument. But my point is, even if it's real, do you really think the United States is going to be awakened about this? Do you understand? And then I come back to this pool. Let me show you this so we can
because
it
says independent there. I already look at it, and yes, with the independent, that's where the war is.
So basically, it's very interesting because when you see here, like if we have, because right now we are in the primaries, right, for the Republicans, and again, I'm dumb, so I would like to understand more about the politics. So primarily, and the primary is like it's a little bit DeSantis against Trump, right? For the Republicans.
Yes, because it's a Republican inside election
first. Or maybe that's the ticket. Because remember, in politics in the United States, you have the president and the vice president too, as a ticket. You don't know that.
You don't know what's going to happen. But right now, it's like they are competing between them, right? Okay. So, and that shows this. And then that shows, if DeSantis will go against Biden in the elections, DeSantis has by the polls, he will win. right? But if Trump goes against Biden, Trump will lose again against Biden, right?
Yeah,
and then I come to you and say, man, how it's possible
that with this situation and environment, people still are not. But I need you to do something. I see that you have the cursor there, the mouse. I need to see what it says up there.
No, it's only a photo of a friend of mine he sent to me.
He sent to you. Yeah. But we need to know that polling, where does it come from?
Company here. Yeah.
Okay?
Okay.
Where is it
from the top.
Because I tell you one thing.
It is only a photo. There is no...
No, I know.
Yeah, no. But I'm saying, I understand if it says CNN up there or something like that, because we need to know, presidential election. That's it. Interactive polls. Okay. We got to know who is these people and what's going on. That's because they also paint a different panorama. You know what I mean?
So you think eventually...
Yeah.
For the Democrat parties of, let's say that let's not put all the Democrats inside the socialists.
Yeah.
But let's say that what you're saying to me is for the socialists.
Yes.
It's better because if they're doing this, they're trying to show, if you're a Republican, go to DeSantis, right?
Yeah.
So do you think for the socialists, if this pool come from this source, do you think it's going to be better for the socialists that there is a competition in between DeSantis and Biden?
Between DeSantis and Biden than between Trump and Biden? Who gets elected, you say, as a primary?
Yeah.
Well, it depends. There is different views because I'm telling you, basically the governor, it's the same agenda than Trump, okay, without the Trump. Okay. And there is a lot of people that still believe, I'm telling you, that's the disinformation campaign. If you do a poll, serious polls came out, and 60% of the people, after the Twitter files that Elon Musk said, look, it was real, okay? And after they realized with the Durham report that, for example, even the laptop of Hunter Biden wasn't a Russian fantasy, it was real, their thing. Many people said 60%, 62%, I believe, was in the poll. It was a serious one. They said, I would have voted differently. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
I would have voted differently. So it depends the poll, where it comes from. You see what I mean? For example, there is a poll between Trump and DeSantis. DeSantis finally, he jumped himself into business yesterday, but he was at 19% versus Trump was 58%.
Right there.
So I have here a little bit comparison between...
Look at this, 19 to 60. I wasn't looking at it.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. So now look what's happening. Listen what's that. This is very interesting. You see all these people, 4%. Okay, Tim Scott is a very tough guy. This is very good, from South Carolina. And there was talk that he was going to be the VP in the ticket of Trump. In fact, Trump did not receive bad news. About 72 hours, he jumped into the fray, Tim Scott, and he said, welcome and congratulations. He wasn't nasty to him. But then when you go see, look, Mike Pence is in the third place. The rest, everybody, even Mike Pence, is waiting for the second place that has it, Ron DeSantis. It's too early to say, because numbers start changing. We Republicans have seen, for example, Newt Gingrich, who's a tough guy, very good guy, and he was ahead like this. In a matter of 3 weeks, he wasn't ahead anymore, and he was losing. Yeah. So things change, news change, and there is one thing called censoring. They censor everything till Elon Musk discover and kind of put to light, and many people left to be a zombie and say, oh God, then these people was right. So my Democrat friends, sometimes they tell me, well, Perosch, I got to give it to you. I don't know what happened. You lucky bastard, you got it right. Lucky bastard. I do my homework. You should have done yours. But anyway, if you're waking up, it's enough for me. Because I tell you one thing, seriously, people are looking at me and say, this guy's nuts. He wants to, he has aspiration. No, I don't want to be right. I wish I was wrong, because if I was wrong, everything was going to be okay. You understand what I'm saying? And I was telling you, if you're a Catholic or you're religious, I don't want to sound pompous, but you know who was the biggest historic conspirator theorist in the world? It was Noah and his ark, till it started to rain. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So now it's raining and still people don't believe. I give you another example. It was about a year ago. We got to the conclusion, okay, it was a given that the Russian collusion was a fantasy. It was a fake file. It was bought by the Democrats. It was thrown in there. Hillary had something to do. Look, I'm not suicidal. If you find me suicide, I didn't shoot myself. Hillary and all this thing. So everybody knew that. There is a little detail. When they do these things, they know exactly what they're doing. And it's called statute of limitation. It happened 6 years ago. And she goes, yeah, okay, it was me that paid for that fake file. But it's 6 years, all right? You can try it. It was old, so it's okay. So imagine the situation. Still, there is 50% of this country that don't know that Trump did not collude with Russia. Not at all. It was the other guys who were mirroring on him. You see?
Good question, Perosch, my friend. Yeah. If you have to select who will be competing against the Democrats, who would select?
Listen,
in between the Republicans.
Listen,
that's a good question.
Yeah.
Just before he goes, right? If for the Democrat Party, right, take out Biden, the viejito dormilón. We put another guy. There is another guy running too, which is Robert Kennedy Jr.
Yeah, that's a franchise.
That's a perfect fit for the Democratic ticket, to the guy.
He's 26%.
Yeah.
He's 26%. He started with nothing. He went into 10. He ruled to 15, 16. He's already 27%. What did the people say for Biden? Oh, no, the president wants to run again. We won't have, in the primaries, we won't have a debate, which takes me back to something you say. Let's have a debate. That's the essential of a nation.
That's right.
Do a debate. That's why you have debates. Trump, on his first debate against Biden, accused him of everything, even the laptop of the son. You know what was the reaction of people? Because they weren't informed at all. Everything was censored. The media had sold out. Okay, what did he say? He says his son has a laptop. He took money from the Chinese. He has did that. And everybody, what a bad guy. He's attacking the son. Okay, Biden is not attacking his kids. Okay, now, really, the laptop wasn't a Russian thing.
Yeah, but the point is, even though, to be sincere with you, the United States will have a good right-wing platform, which is Fox News, right? It's not like we are depleted of...
Used to,
I don't know.
But talker left, and it's degrading by the minute. We can debate
about this, but you have a lot of radios and conservative minds and stuff.
There is not much. Believe me, there is not much left. AM radio is very conservative, and imagine...
But what is the difference? Why, for example, Trump won 4 years before, and not? And it's tight. Let me tell you this, because even for my friends, some people they feel a little bit of being Democrats, right? So I don't know.
The question was why Trump won.
Okay, go ahead.
Why Trump won in 2016? He came out of nowhere. They weren't expecting it, and said this guy is not a politician, is not an insider. He, in fact, wasn't a Republican, and he used the platform of Republicans because otherwise he has to go independent. He wouldn't have made it.
So the media didn't...
They didn't see him coming, and then they colluded, what we know now, from the Obama time. Everybody knew and said, look, let's get together with this guy, because this guy, people start liking it, etc., etc.
Impeachment.
Yeah.
It was a huge... When you are 4 years as a president.
So what you're telling me is nobody knew his agenda, so they kind of let him slip into it, and then when they discover,
He's an outsider. He's an outsider. Okay. He was a big businessman known for his name, and he had a lot of situations that they said, this guy, we can plant him a problem a minute, and they did. And since then, there has been not a person that taken the pressure like Trump has taken it. And I'm going to tell you, let's say he's our friend, okay? And you play cards with him. And in the middle, you say, listen, Donald, you're rich, you have a beautiful wife, you have good kids, you have a business going, you like to play golf. What the hell? Just go enjoy your thing. I'm screwed. You don't need this. Why you keep going? Yeah, well, there's one thing, it's called vanity. He wants to be in the book of history. Like, look, you can do this with me, okay? But he keeps insisting, this is the last chance we have. 2024. Why did he win in 2016? Nobody saw it coming. They did what they could to get him out of the picture. They couldn't. And from there, they made hell for 4 years, and this guy still gave us the best economy since the 50s. Okay? And now you go back to the same question. Then how come they voted for this guy? Well, because there was a lot of problems this old man had that nobody knew, and they faked it. So Trump told him, your son took money. That's not true. The laptop is not a general, it's written there. No. You were racist in 90 something because you did the prison thing, etc., etc. Imagine that in the primary, who was the woman that attacked Biden the most? Is the white yeah. Harris says, because of you in the primary. Says, because of you, I couldn't graduate in the school that I wanted because you had something against blacks, and I couldn't graduate in the university because of you. Today is her VP, and she was the first one to retire from the primaries because she didn't have the money. She had 1%. She never grew. And they picked her. The biggest enemy of Biden now is the VP of Biden, which comes to the term of him. It says maybe between Trump and DeSantis, they're gonna fight, but then at the end, if DeSantis keeps good numbers and Trump is ahead, so let's do the ticket and let's win this thing.
So you think they will flip? They'll put DeSantis as the president?
Well, I can give you other examples. You remember when Obama won, who was the biggest enemy of Obama? Hillary Clinton. Okay. Right. And the story that Obama was born in Kenya, it wasn't a Trump thing. It was started by Hillary Clinton and her husband, and then Trump picked it up and said, can we see your passport? Can we see your, not passport, can we see your birth certificate? Yeah. Yes. It took 3 years, which, by the way, listen, I'm so honest in this thing. Obama had no need to show it. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Just like Trump has no need to show his tax returns. In fact, finally, they got him. There's nothing there. Okay. Oh, no, that's not true, because, there was $1.5 million about a plane. Listen, he used this plane and he says, listen, I use it for business. No, it's not. Okay. All right.
But my friend Perosch, I'm going to come back to the question because you're deviating.
No.
If it is Trump and DeSantis, who would you pick
at this moment,
competing against Biden?
I had an interview on NBC the other time. They didn't air it because I threw a missile there. They didn't like it, because NBC is very part.
He is going to be aired. Don't worry.
No. I understand it's going to be aired. That's why I feel comfortable to say what I'm saying.
Live right now. I mean, there's no way.
It's okay.
Live, yes.
So the reason why I'm saying is, I said in the interview, I want to see first the governor jump into the fray. I know the governor. I know his agenda. It is a very good agenda. DeSantis has a little problem there. He is playing on Trump one thing. He is a loser, but not as a friend. He's a loser because he lost. We lost the Congress in 2018. He wasn't able to. And in 2020, he lost the election. Okay. And he's been losing with his candidates, which is not very true, but he's a loser. In the past 2 weeks, we realized that probably he didn't lose 2020 and this thing is coming back. So he's playing on that. As we go along in the election, the more and more stuff start coming, redeeming Trump, and Trump is smiling saying, didn't I tell you? Didn't I tell you? Didn't I tell you? Okay. The other thing the governor has, he has done an very strong immigration law, which, by the way, he didn't do anything. That law was there, and all he did was fortified it. It says, let's run on this because the law is the law. And I totally agree with him. Same thing Trump says. This country is based on the law. We can just have an open border and everybody comes and do whatever they want. Okay, exactly. You see the results. It's a tragedy, you understand? But I don't want to show it that way because underneath, it's not a whole humanitarian thing. It's a voting. If you put 20 million illegals and you do a national amnesty, a general amnesty for immigration, you know why they're going to do it? Because they're trying purposely to collapse the immigration department. What is the only solution? What, are we going to run after 20 million people? Where are we going to find them? We need to put them with papers. At a certain point, there is no exit. These people are loyal and going to vote Democrat. And that's the end of it.
You think because I have a friend of mine, he mentions to me, say, Augusto, since Ron was going good in his campaigns against Trump, but since he put he started fighting, I don't agree with the Disney stuff, but I agree with the immigration stuff. When he started fighting with Disney, and then when he put this strict law and he started putting himself as the advocate
Yes.
For the warrior for this law, he started losing because and for me, it's only the immigration. The Disney, I don't think it was something that brought him down. But a lot of the Republicans nowadays, they were immigrants, or they are immigrants, and they get legal immigrants.
That's exactly what I wanted you to get.
Yeah.
See that title there? It's immigrant.
Yeah.
You get the same thing that I get. It's a Perosch. You are an immigrant. Yeah. And you must know that that's not right. These countries may not are immigrants. I go like, wait a minute. Let's not mix one thing with the other. A is not the same thing as a Z. Okay? Hold on. Or A is not the same thing as a V. Just reverse. No, it's completely opposite. I tell you why. Immigrant is a person that comes legal. Is a person that comes to the door and knocks at your door. The guy that is invited to sit at your table and share the goodness, your generosity, and a dinner is invited by you at your house, or is not invited, but knocks at the door, explains his situation, and say, I'll help you. Come in, give me your business card, or let me know your name. At least I know who's entering my house. But now you suddenly sit at the table and you find a guy saying, I don't want chicken. I want meat. And you say, who the hell invited this guy? So hold on. That's an illegal. And the only illegals that I could count off because of political situation are the Cubans. When you see a Cuban swimming with the sharks around coming from Cuba 90 miles, they were the only ones in Latin America who didn't vote for what they got sitting there. Okay, so they had a Cuban affair that was helping it. The rest of the people, well, the Venezuelans, they did vote for Chavez.
Okay.
And I'm one of the ones that said, I'm sorry, I don't know if I can use this, but you morons, we told you in every language, do not go vote.
We can speak words here, no problem.
Since you're like, okay, so 23 years ago, there
no
goes.
Censorship in the Immigrant Boss.
Venezuelans say, Perosch, relax, have a whiskey, all these guys. My first wife in Venezuela says, honey, tone it down because they're not going to invite us anymore. Every time you have a discussion and this is not good. Now, I find the same Venezuelans. They're now in the United States and they're telling me, Perosch, who could have imagined?
Yeah.
Dude, so I told you.
You are fully in favor of this new law that passed.
But I tell you, it's important.
Everything that's there.
If you listen to the government, the law is very clear.
Yeah, okay.
The law is not ambiguous. The law is the law. And that law existed, but nobody took care of it. Now, He did fortify it. What he did, he went the extra mile. And that's where they accuse him of going a bit to the right. And it was whoever... told him to do this.
What is the extra mile that you're referring to?
The extra mile is this. For example, in that law, he said, well, for example, if I find an illegal and you're transporting an illegal in your car, okay, and we stop because of whatever in the road, a checkup or something like that, and you're speeding, and the guy next to you has no papers, etc., you go to jail and he gets deported and he cannot enter this because we're going to do this because the law says. Okay, but let me ask you a question. If I'm a Uber, it comes a guy in here, how do I verify if he has paper? I'm a Uber. I'm not Department of Immigration and not the FBI. So, sir, where are you going? He pays and we go, and how do I know? So, in fact, they back that up. How many newspapers, how many people in the press?
This item is no longer in the law?
It's not in the law. And people don't know. So everybody says, this is necessary. So what happened? Then you have, for example, Telemundo and Univision.
Only 1 second. Yeah. Because I was still under the impression that this item, if you were driving illegal. No. And you know what is very, that concerns me a lot? Say, man, I have a green card. If I do any problem here with the legal, I will lose my green card. Even if you're a citizen in the United States, you got your citizenship through the immigration, you can lose your citizenship.
But because the law says if you have a green card, I had a green card for many years, I become a citizen. When I went there, I give you an example. This is something that people can know. When I went there, I went for my citizenship interview. I had a lawyer next to me. Told me, Perosch, you're always very funny. Don't play around with this thing. Because you do the wrong joke here, you're out of the United States sooner than I can take you to the airport. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? Okay. So I started being funny with the lady that was interviewing me. And little by little, she started laughing. But at a certain point, she goes, listen, I see that in your record, in the year 2000, that was the year that I got here, okay, you had a crime arrest. I said, look at it well. She goes, yeah, I like to know, because a few tickets and so. I said, listen, in the year 2000, I was with the mother of my child. She had a van. I bought a van because my child was a year old, and not to spend too much and everything, I bought a motorcycle. So we had 2 vehicles at the time, and it's fine. So I bought the motorcycle, and the guy there said, don't use a helmet. You don't need a helmet. You don't this. Okay, so I buy the motorcycle. At the time, I had a Venezuelan driver's license, Italian passport, one of those things that, okay, brand new bike. I get stopped on Miami Beach, Memorial Weekend. I didn't know, and the policeman said, pull to the right. He said, where's your helmet? In the trunk of my friend, the car that you see is going there. Call him, I want to see. I call my friend doesn't answer, leaves. So the guy says, let me see your paper. License here, this and there. Okay, this is your bike. Yeah, without a helmet, you can go because you need an insurance. Okay, I told me I don't need an insurance. I'm like, yeah, but you need to have a helmet. So what do we do? So finally he cited me. And after like half hour, everybody laughing because I was standing there by the police. In the moment I was there were 6 arrests in a matter of 20 minutes of people that were doing not so fine things. Okay, I was in the middle of all these people. The guy looks at me and goes like, look, and I get the hell out of here. Don't even start the bike. Leave. Here's your tickets. Go in front of the judge. I go in front of the judge. He said, what the hell were you doing there? I said, listen, I'm sorry. I went for a ride. I needed gas, and I got pulled over, and I didn't have the helmet. Okay, bring me this, bring me that. At the time, I didn't even have the papers, nothing. I was applying for myself. Okay, driving without the proper license and without the insurance, it's a criminal thing.
I didn't know this.
So that's in the thing. So why I'm giving you this long story? So you understand what you said. If I have a green card and I do something that I could commit a crime and they tell you, that's a crime, okay? When you go at the final interview where if they're smiling, they tell you, welcome to America, to United States of America, and you're all happy and you hold your lawyer and everything, everybody, congratulations. Or otherwise, they tell you, no, you don't get it. You have a crime thing and you don't get the citizen. And by the way, they tell you have 30 days to leave. Because you can't stay here. You can be?
And again, I completely agree.
Exactly.
That the country have to protect themselves against criminals, right?
So the law is the law.
But the point is, when you like this item of transporting someone,
yes,
it's like you are pushing everyone to be criminals. This is a different thing.
Yeah.
Because you are making everybody right now becoming criminals, yes. And you're gonna be submitted to your luck. I can never get a stop in my car, but I can get one day.
What the governor is trying to do. You see, I speak very good about Trump. Yeah. I was almost appointed by Trump at the White House at the time. It never happened. The guy had a bigger fish to fry at the last days. Mm-hmm. Okay, so it didn't happen. And the governor instead gave me the microphone and told me, listen, tell me a little bit about Venezuela. That was 2 years ago. Fine. But why I tell you, the governor is excellent with the microphone. He's a guy that has a word that it's incredible the way the guy performs. Yesterday on Twitter, I was an hour and 5 minutes. It's incredible. If you hear when he announced the immigration law, nothing of all that is said. The media takes it, okay. And what they give an appearance. He doesn't love immigrants. No. Okay. He likes immigrants. He's DeSantis. He's an immigrant himself. His family comes from Italy years and years ago. I am an immigrant. I came from outside. You are an immigrant. Everybody's an immigrant. It's fine. Unless you are native Indian American, everybody's an immigrant in this country. But everybody went through a port of law. Everybody went, even the ones that jump on an officer at the gate at an airport, and they will tell you. And he said many people don't do the asylum. Asylum is part of a law that you need to qualify to an asylum. And just the fact that you're scared and things are not working in your country, that doesn't mean you get an asylum. People don't understand that. You need to get in there. When they give me an asylum, you know what they do? You are like a political refugees in a way, because you have to tell them they want to kill me in Venezuela. Okay, I cannot ask, and listen, they wanted to kidnap my son. So I had reason. And I had the newspapers that showed that I was against Chavez. So I have reasons to come here. Yeah, they told me, you know what? I never thought, but my lawyer told me, Perosch, you can ask for asylum.
You could ask.
I could have. He told me, no, you can't, because I have an Italian passport too.
Oh, okay.
So you know what I tell you? I said, excuse me, go to Italy. Nobody wants to kill in Italy. So it's the last extreme. Why do they give this? Because a country like United States for human rights, it says, if we don't believe this guy and we send him back and he gets killed, we have one hell of a problem. We send this guy to die and you got to respond for something to human rights. So what they do, they call the country and says, I have this asylum and these refugees here who like to be refugees, etc. And he claims that you are after him, you want to put him in jail, you want to torture him, and you want to kill him. You think Venezuela is going to say, oh, yeah, that's Perosch. Yeah. Don't worry. Yeah, keep it. No, they'll say, no, what the hell is he talking? I don't even know what you're talking about. Yes. What do you mean? Okay, what happened? They put you on a list. You said that we wanted to kill you. Good. You cannot come back to your country till that administration, if we want to be kind, and that regime. That's how it works. Till there is no change of regime, you can go back to your country because you are in a blacklist. Okay. I tell you, I'm not a political refugee or anything, but I'm telling you, I'm pretty sure they have me on the list at the airport because I had an affair with Chavez, which we didn't see eye to eye.
So you have ever came back to Venezuela since you moved to Venezuela? I
did in the year 2002. Okay, because my father was still there. He died 6 months later. And he told me, dude, you left. I need you to sign me some papers because we're getting away with some companies and stuff like that. And I said, forget it. And he told me, I need you to sign 48 hours. I went back, and I left.
Were you afraid when you went back?
Well, I looked 2 years later and everybody told me, because it wasn't that bad at the beginning, because there was a lot of money still in Venezuela. Yeah, and the Chavez years were very bad, but there was so much money still in Venezuela, you wouldn't notice. Then when Maduro came, situation went down the drain, and really, there's no money. Even the government is screaming. The government,
have you come back, George, to Venezuela?
Well, I'm blacklisted too.
Yeah.
That's something that happened to a lot of Venezuelans, especially when you are against the regime and trying to do the good things for the conservative. So for that conservative movement that is in Venezuela that we used to call opposition. Okay. The last time I went to Venezuela was 2017.
2017.
Yeah. So he's in 2002. They told me, Perosch, enjoy it.
There's a warrant against me.
You know what they told me?
And they know what I know. No matter what, I'm a U.S. American citizen too. They are trying to always say, I want that guy.
Yeah.
But you feel afraid when you went there 2017? Did you feel a little bit any?
It was perfectly fine. The decomposition, I mean, the destruction of the country, and 2017 was unimaginable.
XP voice privacy contents have been updated. To continue.
That's no problem, guys.
That's you?
No, it's...
Listen,
so you were alive, so...
you're like,
we see all the
listen, hi, this is the State Department. We'd like to talk to you.
Yes. I'm sorry, people from Venezuela.
No.
I'm sorry, the government of Venezuela. I think I'm blacklisted too now. Oh my gosh.
Listen, it's funny. This is Maduro on the line. Hey, give me the guy of the glasses. I'd like to speak with him, Maduro. Put him on the line.
Okay, guys. So anyways, it's going to be great. So I think it's time. Again, guys, here we are, the Immigrant Boss. We like to see a little bit different visions, different opinions about everything that happened. Hopefully you got a great time. And we're going to have the last words. So my friend Perosch, give me your contact information and the last words that you can see to this beautiful audience that you have here.
And Alberto Perosch at gmail.com. Okay. And my phone number, if you want to put it on the thing, I have no problem whatsoever. Power is already pinched by certain agency. We call it pinched. In Venezuela, it's called pinched. Right. When you're talking to somebody and says, are we on a clear line? Who knows? You know what I mean? But yes, we're trying to hold the line. Okay. And I tell people, please wake up, look, the information is there, because actually I'm not James Bond. And 6 years ago, if I knew what I was talking about, pro-Trump or not pro-Trump or whatever, that's a different thing. But anybody can look. Do the homework. Wake up. Look, because you have kids and the future doesn't look so bright, okay? And you see, in 2 years, the situation has changed completely. We weren't at war. We didn't have this inflation. We look at the prices. Look at the insecurity in the street. We didn't have this crime. Our kids were not antagonized in school. We didn't have these crazy ideas of things. We weren't in debt like we are. The banking was working well. I mean, business was great. We were respected outside. And right now, we have have an open border, and we don't even know what to believe. So when I say shut down the border, everybody, Perosch, you're not even, listen, one thing is illegal, and the other thing, it's immigrant. You need to come with your papers in your hand. You need to show. I understand people are desperate, but we don't know what's getting in there. And we know already, and he knows that too, we have information that 4,000 criminals were relinquished and get out of jails, and they were sent here, paid by the regime to come here. Listen, in a batch of 100 people, I'm not saying everybody's a criminal, but if 10 of them are criminal, you never seen,
Correct.
and I know Brazil knows about crime, you never seen a Venezuelan criminal. They don't know nothing else but to rob, steal, and kill. You understand what I'm saying? And they're not coming here for a new opportunity. They're coming for naive people, and they're coming to knock at your door. It's very bad.
So, okay, guys, so if you are a Republican, you want to help our friend here, Alberto, or if you're a Democrat and you want to talk with him, he's going to try to convince you to become become a Republican as well.
Let's have a debate here in Immigration
And then
Boss.
we are open to Democrats, to all the opinions, and have debates here. It's going to be great.
I think he changed already.
What?
He was thinking like a Democrat guy. Right now, he's...
Come on. Didn't you see the
I
Trump
was a
sticker in his
Democrat.
car?
Now he convinced me.
Listen, you didn't see. You see, look, on top of the Lula sticker was the Trump sticker, you know.
So,
I kidding.
Lula. So, guys, so here we are open. We are business people. We have to be connected with the happening in politics, and it's always good to have opinions and different type of point of views. So, Alberto, thank you very much. Alberto Perosch at gmail.com. I'm gonna put his information here down there, so you can connect with him directly if you wanna collaborate with him, connect with him, get convinced by him to become a Republican as well. Understand a little bit more about this law. George, what do you have? Your last words and how to find you.
Wow. The most incredible part for Alberto is the Latin American Republicans United.
Oh, it's right here on the hat.
That's right.
Yes.
Wow, that's
right.
great. So you have
Latin American
contact him.
Republican United.
okay, so it's association.
a Republican club.
Okay.
Which we are authorized by Republicans to use their name. We are
That's great.
at the state level. We just got certified. Okay, we're gonna have an inauguration. One here in Florida, one down in Miami.
Okay.
You know, two different countries.
So
I'm kidding.
So let me tell you this:
Okay.
if you want, we can eventually analyze the possibility to do a podcast in the inauguration,
Absolutely.
a mobile podcast there.
Oh, you think you weren't gonna be invited?
Sure, yeah. I'm going
I tell
to.
you what, you're gonna be invited on the first debate between DeSantis and Trump.
That's great.
You're gonna be sitting next to me, and you're gonna enjoy because that's gonna be the Coliseum.
For sure.
You understand what I'm saying?
And if you get some painting jobs there for me, guys, you can,
Absolutely.
This is business, right?
I'll bring my business card.
I'm
Okay.
sorry. I want to go into this saying. I'm sorry, we're painting you a different reality. You know, but it's reality.
Yes, for
You
sure.
do the painting, I do the lending.
Yes, that's
right.
great.
And we keep doing business. That's part of the Republican mentality.
That's great. And how to find you, George?
LarryCredits.com. Info at LarryCredits.com. Any kind of loan that you are looking for right now, especially the immigrants that wants to work, get a job, or whatever you want to do, LarryCredits.com.
Can I add something? Because
Sure.
this guy has one thing that is, besides being a very good businessman, a hardworking guy, he's very modest. This guy just is gonna get a prize at the Congress as one of the. Go ahead. Say it.
Yeah, we are.
You got go ahead.
prize?
Larry Credits, yeah.
Okay.
It's going to be recognized as one of the most important companies helping the Latino community.
Great. Amazing. Okay, cool.
So
Yeah.
that's the thing. This is a good guy.
That's
a good
great.
guy.
Again, my friend Perosch here, he's open for debate. So if you're a Democrat and if you want to apply, and I will have you both here, and we can, in an educated way, discuss a little bit the laws, discuss a little bit the impact for the immigrant businesses that is here in the United States. Okay, it's going to be amazing.
You wanna come invited? We should. We're part of a Doral Voice Radio,
Sure, yeah.
and we have
That's
a
a
program
good
called
idea.
we have a program called Zero Silence.
Okay, let's also try to follow Zero Silence for this guy
at
on the
Doral
radio.
Voice Radio.
Doral Voice Radio.
And the better follow because you're gonna be there.
For sure,
I want
yeah.
you sitting. I want you to tell me everything about the paint business, about the immigration under your point of view.
That's amazing, guys. And I'm Augusto Alagia. I'm here, your host
Thank
for
you.
the Immigrant Boss show. Of course, I have the painting business. If you want to send me some painting jobs, it's going to be great. But the most important here is to contribute to the immigrants in general so they can have successful businesses in the United States. Of course, you know right now that knowing a little bit of politics is extremely important for you to position yourself into your business, and you know how to brace for any change. So thank you very much again, and see you soon.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity.